Hey, yo, what up? This your boy David Lucas, and welcome to my long form podcast, The Fat Pessimist. I know you guys have seen it on YouTube and on my IG from 1 minute to 90 seconds to 3-minute clips, but now it's long form. I'm gonna be coming to you from about an hour to 2 hours now. And y'all, welcome, man. Make sure you subscribe, share this shit. You know, your boy gonna bring the funny and interesting shit. And today, I have a dope ass guest to kick my podcast off. I have the 10th most interesting man in the world. Y'all give it up for Mr. John Boseak. Yeah.
In the house.
Man, hey, that's some sick ice you got on your neck, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
How much you think you got on your neck?
Ooh, I don't know. Roughly 20.
Ooh, might have to rob this nigga.
Yeah.
I was just joking, man. So, for people who don't know you, can you give them, let's go into your life story, man. Tell us what's up with you, how you became one of the most interesting and wanted man in the world, dog. Like,
sure. I'll take you guys down the road.
Let's do it.
Yeah, sure. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, a small city outside of Detroit, Michigan called Mount Clemens. It's about 20 miles north of Detroit. Born there in the 80s and then kind of migrated down to South Florida in the early 90s, and that's kind of how I grew up in between Detroit and Miami. On the streets of Miami pretty much from a very young age. I started with the bullshit pretty young. You know what I mean? Like my mom's was like a single mom. She was just working 2 jobs and it was me and my little brother.
And it's not too hard to get into the bullshit in Miami.
And no, it's right outside your front door.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, it is what it is. Like I didn't have any, positive male role models growing up. You know what I mean? Like my dad was in my life, but he wasn't involved in my day-to-day life, you know? So
right, I get it.
My influences, and this was early 90s, mind you, so my influences were MTV. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all there was. That's all there was MTV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was like MTV and like whoever I ran into on the street, kids I went to school with, which everybody was just doing hood shit because I didn't come from like an affluent part of Miami. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in like Little Havana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Homestead, parts of Homestead, Kendall. You know what I'm saying? South Florida, Miami Heights.
So how old were you when you came to Miami?
About 7. It was in 1992.
Oh, okay, so you was a little bit too young when you were in Detroit or outside of Detroit to really be involved in any bullshit, right?
Oh no. Yeah, I was just a toddler. I was 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, that's when we moved to Miami. I was 7. So I grew up in Miami pretty much. Yeah, I spent my whole life in Miami.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah, and like I said, I just didn't have any. I didn't have any, positive male role models growing up. I wasn't involved in sports or anything like that. So yeah, my influences were mostly negative. And that just kind of developed my character. You know what I'm saying? Like my attitude towards my worldview and my attitude towards authority. You know what I'm saying? That all kind of shaped who I was. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, I just started with the bullshit pretty early.
I think that's a problem in Miami, though. Like anybody who grew up in Miami or spent time in Miami, people in Miami have a problem with authority. It is a big problem with authority in Miami.
Yeah.
I was the same way as a jit, man. I did not fuck with the police.
Yeah.
I was on my NWA shit all the way. Fuck the police.
Yeah, running from one time every day, you know what I mean? Running and always in the dope spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that I got shit, I love the police. Like
hey, it's funny how your attitude changes, right? You know what I'm saying? I when I see police, I be in like a rough neighborhood and I'll see the police, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Help me.
I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh man. But yeah, no, I just, I grew up in a rough situation, and it got to a certain point between me and my mother where I was just bringing too much of the bullshit home. You know what I'm saying? I was getting brought home by the police 3:00 in the morning. She was having to go down to the Jack downtown Miami to pick me up.
Right.
And that's just what it was. And then it got to a certain point to where I got released from like a boys' home or something like that. Because now, mind you, I've been incarcerated from about the age of 13 until I was about 19.
Damn.
Yeah, straight.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out. Well, I was out maybe a month or two every year. I was out like a month or two.
So what would you say was the first big crime you did? Like where you was like, shit, I'm in this.
Auto theft.
Auto. How old were you?
Oh, 13.
Bro, you was a badass jit for real.
I was 13, bro. I first stole my first car when I was 13.
How'd you do it? Was it a stick up? You broke into it?
No, I did it with a screwdriver. Like one of the older cats taught me how to do it on a car in his backyard. You know what I'm saying? And I just it was a Dodge Neon. And if you know anything about
you stole the worst car.
Well, if you know anything about the earlier, like it was my first car. Right. But see, if you know anything about the older Dodges, like from like the late 90s to early 2000s, the Dodge Neon, the Dodge Dakota, they had these little light rings around where you put the key in.
Right.
Now, if you can pop that light ring off, that plastic cover where the light ring comes out, the ignition will come out about a half an inch. And then there's just another little ring that you need to release, and it releases a spring, and it releases the whole ignition. Then you can start that motherfucker.
For anybody who don't know,
don't do that. That's probably not a good thing to do. But I mean, that's how I learned, and that was how I stole my first car.
I haven't seen a Dodge Neon in at least 15 years.
You ain't lying. I don't see that. Yeah, you don't see them anymore. So yeah, you're probably safe there. But yeah,
Dodge Neons.
Yeah. So I'd get in there, and I got so good at it. Right. Pop, 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 boom, be gone, and like. Less time than it would take you to get in and start it with a key. I could do it with a screwdriver. Damn, and I was, mind you, I'm small today.
Right.
When I was 13, I was 4'11". You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I had to pull the seat all the way up and do one of these. You know what I'm saying? To see. When
you started doing like carjackings and shit, do you feel like people in the neighborhood respected you more? Or that's that crazy ass white boy? Is that what they said?
Yeah, every time they see me on the block, I was see because you know how you come up the block and they be all just be standing out there. I'll hit the gas real fast on them, whoa, and I'll just come speeding up on them, and then I'll hit the brakes, and then I'll just my little head will pop up out the window, and they already know it's a stolen car, and they be like, everybody fucking, I'm doing donuts and shit on the block. I'm 13.
In a Dodge Neon.
Well, whatever I had that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, I was always wilding, bro. I was the wild one. I was the wild one, the little jit, the wild jit, and that's just how that's just how everybody knew me.
You remind me of this dude I grew up. He had a brother. It was Jeff, and I can't remember the other name, but they was like that, bro. They was wild as hell, stealing cars. I don't know what they used to chase each other with knives and shit. I went to their house one day.
Yeah, that's Miami shit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just Miami shit. You grow up in the street, Miami. You're gonna end up stealing a couple cars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then drinking on South Beach and selling ecstasy out there in South Beach, and you know what I'm saying? That was
big when they used to call it with the Blue Dolphins back in the day.
Yeah, sure. I had plenty of those. Yeah. So that's like I said earlier, it just got to the point to where my mom's was like, "Yo, you got to go." You know what I'm saying? I was only like 14,
right?
Maybe 14, 15. My mom was like, "Yo, you got to go," which I was dope. I was fine with that though,
because you was making money stealing cars. And
now I don't have that stress on me that you know what I'm saying. My mom's like I'm running away from home and like. Right. I got to sneak back in and sneak out. Now I don't have that stress no more. You dig what I'm saying? Now I can just run the streets and do whatever I want, which was dope to me. And that's what I did. I just ran the streets from, probably 13 or 14 years old all the way up until like my mid 20s.
Shit.
Yeah, but I was just out there, like no residence, nowhere to live, just, you know what I'm saying, here and there. And I had cars periodically, you know what I'm saying? So I would sleep in my car and just, you know how it is in South Florida. You just be partying. You know
absolutely,
what I'm saying?
Man.
You just go from one party to the next. The beach, and then the strip club, and over here, over there.
So what got you into the fraud? Like, how did that? Like, how do you go from? Because I was watching some of your stuff earlier. You started off with the bikes first, right? Stealing bikes, I think it said.
Yeah, when I was a jit. Yeah. That's how my crimes went from bicycles to cars. And then I was, like I said, selling fake ecstasy when I couldn't, when I'd fuck up the re-up money, I'd have to go get the dummies and get those to get to the next ones. And so, I did that. And then it was like, I've always kind of like been savvy with computers and technology. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been building computers since I was, real young. And I've always been interested in programming and all of those things. And then I learned Photoshop. Because I just learned how to draw from a young age. I've always been interested in art. I'm a full-time tattoo artist now. I've been tattooing like 10 and a half years.
Nice.
But so I was into art, and that got me into Photoshop, which got me into like manipulation of images. And then like I started like altering documents for people like at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Like
so
I would
started off kind of innocent.
Yeah, I would make insurance papers for people so they go get their car registered. I'd make doctors fucking legitimate, I'd make all kinds of shit.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like the go-to guy for like the documents.
You couldn't make report cards?
Oh, that's nothing.
I would have needed. I needed you in high school.
I was doing diplomas and shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
in leather binders that came fucking legit stamped and embossed. And
I need a diploma from the U. Can you hook me up?
I got sick with it. That's no problem. Yeah, I could do that in one afternoon.
Damn.
But that's why I got started into the fraud world. Yeah, and it kind of just progressed from there. But I did graduate high school. I did go to I went to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. I went to AI out there, and I got my associate's degree in graphic design, media arts.
Nice.
I went on to work for a print company in Miami that did like the vehicle wraps.
Right.
And they did say silkscreen T-shirts. They did flyers, and they did banners and all that shit. And I was their lead graphic design artist. I worked for them for a number of years until they actually got raided by the FBI and got closed down. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. It was some Argentinian dude and his wife that ran the business. From my understanding, the business was legit. Like, I'd just show up to work every day and I'd do my job. Like, I had no idea that they were doing something shady. But they were. The company got closed down, and then I was like, I had an apartment on Brickell, downtown Miami.
Oh, so you was living nice.
I was driving a nice car, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then all of a sudden, my source of income was taken away.
Right.
So now all I have is debt and bills with no income coming in.
And you used to that way of life.
And
so you like,
I didn't want to go back to living in a studio in Hialeah somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to go backwards. So yeah. And then, like, I've always been a fraudster. I've always known about scams and fraud, because that's just like the circle of individuals I've always surrounded myself with.
And it's Miami.
It's Miami. And for people that don't know, like, Miami's like fraud. Everybody's pulling scams and fraud, and that's just how it's just like the environment. It's the atmosphere,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants a Bentley, everybody wants to drive the Rolls, everybody wants to hit South Beach in the Lambo, stunting. You know what I mean, with the AP and all that shit. You know what I mean? And that's just the mentality of everybody. I used to go to people's homes who had an S500 in the driveway, but you come in and they're sitting on lawn furniture.
Bro, it's retarded.
So many times, like, you don't even know. Like, I'd be partying with somebody at the club, they're buying bottles, and I jump in a nice car. We go to some big ass house, and we come in and it's empty. I'm like, damn, dog, you just moved in? No, we've been here a minute. I'm like, oh, okay, well, your priorities are fucked up.
Find a spot on the floor.
Priorities are fucked up.
You couldn't scam Rent-A-Center, bro? Like, what you doing, man? Why you scam?
Yeah, I know, right?
Why you go, like, dog, you got the mansion, you got the Bentley or the Wraith.
That's the mentality of just, the Miami shit.
That happened to me out here, bro. I met a chick. She had was it the CLS 500?
Sure.
And I thought she was just being weird, like, oh, I don't have people at my house like that. And then when I finally went to her house, bro, it was air mattresses everywhere. It was probably like 8 chicks in a 2-bedroom, dog.
All on air mattresses.
I'm like, okay, this is why you want me to come in your fucking house. It ain't because you wanted no damn privacy. You was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Y'all in here living like y'all running from a hurricane.
Rough. Living rough.
Living rough as a motherfucker.
Yeah. So, people just have their priorities fucked up in Miami.
They were, yeah.
And that's just the environment that I grew up in. That's what got me involved in the whole fucking scam world. So yeah, so at this point I'm saddled with I still got all my student loans to pay, and then I've got this nice fucking condo apartment I want to keep, and I got this nice car, and I'm still going out to nice dinners, and you know what I mean. Right. So it's like I got to figure out some way to bring some fucking money in, or I'm gonna lose everything. Yeah. So that's when I started getting into the credit card. I just started doing my research, and then one thing led to another.
So it was kind of too easy for you.
Once I started looking into it, I'm like, I couldn't believe how easy it was. I mean,
Definitely.
for the normal person, it probably wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But just with my experience in life and my know-how and my skill set, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. This is a joke. This is a joke. And yeah, so over just trial and error, and over about a 6 or 8 month period, I ordered cards online, and I went out to the store and used them, and I figured out how that worked.
So how were you ordering cards online? Were you using like the black web?
So you got to mind you, this was 20 years ago.
Right.
There was no Onion Router, there was no Silk Road, there was no dark web. That shit just didn't exist.
Dark web, not black web.
Yeah. That shit just didn't exist. There was something called carding forums back in the day. And it was just like a website you would go to, and it's just like a forum, like a board. And there would be different topics, and you click on a topic, and then there's threads for each topic. You know what I'm saying? Like old school 4chan or Reddit from back in the day. And you would go on there, and you would just find people who were either advertising that they were selling blanks, or they were selling, CVVs, which were credit cards, or they were selling, whatever. And then, sometimes you got ripped off. Sometimes you actually got what you were fucking trying to purchase.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to go through that whole rigmarole where I got ripped off for thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like I would send somebody money for cards and I would just never get them. And then what are you going to do? Call the Better Business Bureau? You know what I mean? Like fucking, there's nothing you can do about it. So you just get robbed. Yeah. So I got robbed a bunch of times, and then like I said, it was just trial and error, and I just never gave up, and I just stuck with it.
Talk about some perseverance, even though it was on some bullshit. This motherfucker, he has perseverance. He never gave up. See, guys, if you never give up, you will achieve your dream.
Yeah, I got robbed for thousands of dollars before I actually even found like the first vendor that I ended up buying cards and shit from. Yeah.
So what's like the time from when you order a card to when it get to you on a legit one?
5 days.
Oh, that ain't shit.
About 5 or 6 days, but depending on where the cards getting mailed from, and what part of the world they're in, because usually these cards aren't coming from the U.S.
Right.
U.S. vendors don't last very long when they start doing the credit cards.
So you get just a blank card, and you got to have a credit card machine to punch the numbers.
To emboss the card and to encode and to do everything. Yeah, to be able to actually go out into the store to use the credit card. Yeah.
So you can order your shit on a Sunday and be ready for the club by Friday. That's kind of lit,
ready.
Right?
Yeah, if you got the right equipment and a little bit of know-how, it's not really.
What was the first thing you bought on a fake card?
Oh, I went to Foot Locker. First place I went. I went to Foot Locker and I just got a pair of shoes and it went through and I was like,
I hope you bought some retro Jordans and not them goddamn bullshit ass
I only
Jordans.
fuck with retros.
Oh,
and Air
okay.
Max.
I was like, man, if you was buying the Mexican Mikes, nigga.
Nah. Retros and Air Max, brother.
There we
it.
go. Yeah, you got some on now. Yeah, some Air Max. Damn, bro. So it went through, and then what was your next purchase after that?
I think I went to Best Buy and I got and this is back when iPods were still a thing. Yeah. iPod Touch were like just like coming out, and so I think I bought like a bunch of those. Like I bought like 5 or 6 of those. Yeah. So
what was like the limit on these cards? No limit?
Well, you never really know how much money someone has in their bank account.
Ah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So it all boils down to the BIN number. And what the BIN number is, the first 6 digits of any debit card or credit card is called a BIN number. It's a bank identification number. Now that will dictate what the who issued the card. If it's a gold, you know what I mean, a platinum, if it's a credit card, if it's a debit card. So this BIN number now, if you can get the BIN number system figured out.
And this is before mobile banking, so you can.
Oh, this is before mobile banking. Yeah, this is before. Before people would get alerts through like email, or the bank would call them, or they would shut. But yeah, the amount of security that's in place now is just nothing like back in the day. It was a Wild West.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a Wild West, really. I mean, I was using one card for weeks sometimes before the people caught on. You know what I'm saying? I would just go on it every day and play a game of how much money can I charge to this card every day before it gets turned off.
Was you able to take cash out too?
No, because you don't have the PIN number.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So even if it's a debit card, you have to process it as credit.
So you just got to have the ID to match up with
Yes, and I made those too.
So you made the ID.
Yeah, I made the driver's licenses to match the credit cards.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn, you was out here really getting it.
Getting them. And I started using them, and then I figured out that business model just wasn't scalable. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too much legwork. I got to put my face on too many cameras.
Right.
So, okay, let's say I hit every Walmart, every Best Buy, every Office Depot. I hit them all in a week, and I get laptops and big screens from all of them.
Right.
You're doing good, right? You just got like $5,000 or $6,000 in merchandise. Sometimes maybe even double that.
But now you burnt.
You got to go and do it again.
Right.
And again.
Right.
So now you got to start going out further, and your operations got to get bigger, and you got to start involving more people, and it's not scalable on any sense of the word. You know what I'm saying? So I figured out that actually selling the plastic and being a vendor on these forums would be that. Now that was scalable. And then that also gave me a better level of anonymity as well. So I could hide and nobody would know who I am because I'm just a screen name. I don't have to put my face in any cameras. I don't have to deal with anybody face to face, nothing. None of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So then that's eventually where it progressed to.
So the fake ID business wasn't too big? It wasn't jumping too much?
You get $300 for a fake ID. That's what I was selling them for, between, like $250, $300. You know what I'm saying?
And how long would it take to make one of those?
5 minutes.
Damn. It's too easy. That's an easy 300. You do 10 a week. That's decent money.
Yeah, it is decent money, but
you want
it's tedious, and you got to mail them out. You know what I mean? The people, you got to deal with a bunch of random ass people all the time, and they want to do crazy shit with the payment systems and all that. Like, dude, dealing with. Okay, just imagine normal customer service,
right?
And now you're dealing with fucking people who want to commit crimes. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different level of customer service you got to deal with. And honestly, I think that's why I had so much success, is because my customer service was on point.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was any problems with my shipments, I always resent more. I would sleep with my laptop next to me with the volume on high. So if I got like a message, I would jump up and deal with it in the middle of the night. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh wow,
yeah. Because a lot of my customers were in like, South America and fucking Russia and like on the other side of the planet. So they're 2:00 in the afternoon is 4:00 in the morning for me.
Right. You definitely had Chick-fil-A customer service in the fraud business.
I had customer service, bro. Customer service. And I had a flawless product on top of that.
Right.
My credit cards were as if they were issued from a financial institution.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I knew you 20 years ago. Well, I wasn't old enough to do anything.
Yeah.
Damn, dog. And so at one point I read that your brother got involved with you?
Early on in the beginning, my little brother did. He started in it with me. Me and him started it together. And he got caught a couple times, like in the store trying to card shit.
Why do you think he got caught?
Unlucky, just bad luck.
Wow.
They swiped the card and something happened during the transaction, and they chased him out of the store and grabbed him. And so he had a couple like run-ins real early. And my little brother's a little bit smarter than I am.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And my little brother has more options available to him to have a life and to create a future than I do.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, I'm done, and he walked away. And this is before I even really started making any money with it. Yeah, he walked away and he moved out to Texas and was like, I'm done with it, pretty much.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna go to Texas and start digging for oil.
Yeah, he went. He's got like his bachelor's degree, and he's a computer, software engineer, and he's married, and he's like straight edge and shit. Yeah, me, I took it and just went on a whole fucking another thing with it. Yeah.
Now hold that thought right quick. All right, man, we got to go pay some bills right quick. We'll be right back, and we're gonna get into more of Mr. John Boseak's story. The Fat Pessimist is brought to you by ShipStation. If you sell stuff online, you're definitely in the right business. More people are shopping online than ever. That means a lot of orders coming in and a lot of orders you'll need to ship out fast. That's why online sellers like you need ShipStation. No matter how much you sell, ShipStation makes it super easy to manage and ship all your orders from all your sales channels faster, cheaper, and more efficiently. Import orders from any sales channel, ship with any carrier, access discounted shipping rates, automate just about any shipping task. You'll spend a lot less time on shipping and a lot more time growing your business. I use ShipStation because, of course, I'm a comedian. I have merch, I have stickers, I have buttons, I have beer cozies. So I always need to get my merch out, and ShipStation consolidates everything into one easy platform that I can use to get my stuff out. No matter where you're selling, if it's Amazon, Etsy, your own website, ShipStation funnels all your orders into one simple interface that you can manage from anywhere, even your cell phone. With ShipStation, small businesses can now access the same rates usually reserved for Fortune 500 companies without the contracts or commitments. Ship more in less time. Just use our offer code BROTHERS to get a 60-day free trial. That's 2 months free of no hassle, stress-free shipping. Just go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in BROTHERS. That's ShipStation.com. Enter offer code BROTHERS. Make ship happen. The Fat Pessimist is brought to you by Blue Blocks. Blue Blocks makes the best sleep mask known to man. I've been using this for the past couple of weeks, and it's definitely helped my sleep. I use it on the airplane as well because, sometimes I just need to block everything out when I'm traveling. And I'm the type of person that any amount of light can keep me up. The Remedy Sleep Mask from Blue Blocks blocks out everything. Total darkness, 100% blackout. It's like the Sandman is personally putting his hands over your eyes to drift you off to dreamland. It has zero eye pressure. It's easy to sleep in. And darkness is good for you. It's proven to increase restorative sleep, both REM and deep sleep. It has an adjustable head strap that's non-elastic so it does not wear out. Plus, its contoured sides allow for side and belly sleepers. No slipping. And it's ultra lightweight. The breathable fabric won't leave you feeling overheated. They actually thought of everything. Blue Blocks has done their research to make the best sleep mask available. Support them because they support this show. Get yours today and 20% off with the code BROTHERS at bluebox.com/brothers. That's BLUBLOX.com/brothers for 20% off. blueblocks.com/brothers and use code BROTHERS for 20% off. Nighty night. The Fat Pessimist is brought to you by MyBookie. March is here, and that can only mean one thing. The craziest college basketball tournament around us, also trademark, madness, and it takes place in March, the month after February. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Well, that big-ass tournament is finally here, and MyBookie is the only way to get in on the action. I like betting. I like to put a couple dollars in my pocket. I like winning $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. You know what I mean? Well, the time has definitely come for you to shoot your shot. You don't just got to hop in a girl's DMs. You can actually bet. So this is the time to shoot your shot. Score big on the nonstop action with MyBookie's bracket contest. You have a chance to win $10,000 in cash prizes. It's only $1 to enter. How? Select winners from 63 tournament games. It doesn't matter whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting the national championship winner, or simply looking for player and game props. MyBookie has you covered. Sign up today at mybookie.ag and use promo code BROTHERS to secure a deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code BROTHERS to claim your first deposit bonus. College ball, NBA, and NHL, no matter the sport, no matter the minute from tip-off to buzzer, MyBookie puts the action in your hands with in-game live betting. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. You get it. And that is it. All right, man. We back. Still got Mr. John Boseak in the studio. So that's a dope ass story, man. And you started from the bikes, then you got to the cars, and then you had the job, and then the job closed, but you still wanted to sustain that same life, and you got into the fake IDs and creating credit cards, and then you became a vendor. And you don't sound like a guy who was comfortable with just making a few $1,000s a week or a few $100s a week. So how did you up the ante? Because I mean, you wouldn't be as notorious as you are if you didn't up the ante. So
my bills at that time were roughly $4,500 a month.
And this was 20 years ago.
That's just to keep the lights on. This is early 2000s. This was probably 2007, 2008.
So that's like $8,000 now, y'all. Inflation.
Yeah. That was just to keep the lights on and to keep everything fucking,
And you said your spot was in Brickell?
Yeah, I had a condo or a building or an apartment in one of those buildings down there on Brickell.
Damn. So you was living.
Yeah, I was doing all right.
What kind of car were you driving?
I had an S500.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh yeah, you okay. I see why you need to start scabbing. They I
was doing all right.
The gas alone in that was like $100 a week.
Yeah, I was doing all right. And I wasn't about to go back to, riding the people mover.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I wasn't about to go back there. And so I had to scale. I had to scale the operation. I had to figure out a better business model. And that's when I figured out that maybe I should start making the cards and selling them. So I got into doing that, and I had a lot of success. Like I said, my customer service was number one. My product was better than anybody else's, because what I did was I went on all the forums and I ordered cards from everybody. Everybody who was vending plastic, I ordered from them.
So
everybody.
So during this whole time, you're not getting in any trouble with the law, like you're not.
No. Fuck no. I'm just I'm keeping my head down. I'm fucking. Okay. I got a little bit of money, so I'm paying my bills, and I'm not partying. I wasn't out going wild or nothing like that.
How many women were you juggling though?
I was actually in a steady relationship. I was in a steady relationship, with my baby mama, and
she knew what you were doing.
She knew exactly what I was doing. Yeah.
That shit is always like, you gotta have a real solid chick when you out here, against the law doing stuff. Because if you
once I got busted, she left me, but yeah,
of course,
she dipped, and she that whole relationship ended.
Where's she from?
South Carolina.
Ah, man, you should have got you a day girl. She would have continued.
I ended up in between, like when I got caught and when I actually went to jail. I ended up meeting my current wife, who is Cuban. You know, she's from Miami. So yeah, I ended up going back to my roots. But no, yeah. So I had to scale it, and you know, I had to figure out a better way to make a way to make more money. Were
you bringing people into the operation?
No, it was all me. Yeah, I didn't have any co-defendants. Nobody knew what I was doing. I was doing everything myself, pretty much. And, so I was saying, I started, I ordered plastic from every vendor, on all of these sites that I could find. And I pretty much just tore their business apart. I'm like, okay, how was their customer service? First of all, how were they dealing with? Did they get right back to me when I messaged them? Did they not get back right back to me? Did it take them 5 days to fucking get back to my message? You know what I'm saying? And then I would rate the product. This is what I'm doing in my head. I'm like, when I get the product, I'm like, okay, I can automatically see what printer he's using. I can see, the quality of the hologram. I can tell, you know what I mean? Like, so I rate. I'm like, okay, well, how do I have to not only do I have to make my product better, I have to make my customer service better. And then I'm gonna sweep all these motherfuckers out. So that was my goal, and that was my business model. A, customer service, and B, to have a better product than everybody else. And over the next like 6 or 8 months, I just worked on that until I, had a business model perfected.
So let me ask, when you were using the cards yourself, because you were using some of the cards.
Sure, yeah, I was doing it.
Did you ever run into any skepticism from like cashiers? Like, nah, bro.
In the beginning, I would get some raised eyebrows. Like in the beginning when I would make cards that weren't really that good, or I was still playing around with getting like everything aligned and everything like that, I did get a few eyebrows raised, but I never had anybody like take the card and be like, oh, this is fake.
Gotcha.
Like that never happened to me. You know what I mean? And
I mean, just luckily, being around you, I could tell. I think a lot of like getting away with crime is confidence.
Social engineering.
I
listen, sometimes I would walk in there and like I own the fucking place. I'd be going to card like a MacBook or something like that, and the card would get declined, and I would be like, run it again. And I know it's gonna get declined because I know it's not a real, you know what I mean? But I would say, just fuck that, run it again. You know what I mean? And then they'd run it again, and then I would give them another card, and that one would go through. You know what I mean? So it's just like you gotta play with it. You gotta play with people, and you gotta kind of judge people based on a few seconds of interaction with them, how far you can push them, what you can get from them. It's a give and take.
Fraud is so bad around the world now, bro. I have to show my ID when I buy Wingstop. That shit.
Yeah, when you use your card.
Bro, I'm like,
oh, food's number one. The mom and all the food restaurants got hit hard with the debit cards.
It's a spot out here. It's a Jamaican spot in.
It's a jerk place.
Yeah, and bro, they don't even take gift cards anymore because I guess they was jugging on the gift cards.
Yeah, and they're probably getting chargebacks,
bro.
And dude, the restaurant loses on all those. Like they don't get that money if you get a charge. So say my credit card, like so say somebody steals my information and they use it at the restaurant, and I call the bank and like, yo, this is not me. Right. The bank does a chargeback and they get the money back, and the restaurant loses out. So small businesses get fucked.
Bro, the Roof Chris and Beverly Hills closed because of chargebacks. When the shit was happening out here in LA, when everybody was getting the PPP
I bet there
loans,
was a wave, yeah.
Bro, so everybody was getting the PPP loans.
Yeah,
and
small business, yeah.
California, because of how much it costs to live here, and they were backdating the EDD cards. Like if you could file an unemployment claim and you filed it like in June, you get a card with like 15 grand on it.
Wow.
So people were flying in from everywhere, dog.
No shit. I heard about that.
They were flying in from and I think the manager at Rue Chris told me they had like 48,000
cards came through that motherfucker. A lot, huh?
Bro, I think they told me he had $48,000 in chargebacks in like 2 weeks, bro. I knew something was going on, but I'm not in that world because I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
But like, if you went to Rodeo Drive, you like, bro, like
these motherfuckers don't belong out
right.
here.
They don't belong. I was at the MCM store.
It's a whole lot of new money out here. You know what I mean? Like,
I was at the MCM store, right? And the guy was on the phone in front of me, and he had an EDD card, and they was getting kind of hip to it at this point.
Yeah,
I was going to cop me a wallet I had saw online. So the dude is on the phone, running a plate on the phone, like just talking about his next play, like his card in the store, wide open, don't give a fuck. So
those are the motherfuckers that fuck it up for everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Those type of motherfuckers that just ruin shit for everybody.
I hope he watched, bro. Holla at me. But anyway, so he gets up to the register, and at this point, if you got an EDD card, they want to see an ID. So he tells the lady, "It's for my business," and she's like, "They don't give unemployment claims for a business." And I was just like, "Bro, you out here looking bad." Like you out here looking bad, bro. Like you really just
it's a whole nother world, man.
They was running it up, bro. I was at I found out because one of my partners from back home came out here, and I'm like, bro, I've been in LA 10 years. You ain't never been out here. Why the fuck are you in LA? And I know you. You don't have money to stay at the London. Why are you at the London? And then he told me what he was doing. Yeah. And I was like, what? He came out here, got 45,000 and went back.
Everybody out here was cutting up. Cutting up. And it's like, I'm not doing fraud anymore, so I missed out on all that money.
Bruh, I missed
out on all that money. But it's like, it's whatever, homie. I got my own shit going on, bro. But yeah.
I think it was some crazy amount.
Oh yeah, no, they averaged it's gonna be like $8 or $9 billion or something like that. They're estimating in just EDD fraud alone. I think I was reading an article last week on it.
They had, so when they was 11 billion in fraudulent California unemployment claims have been paid so far.
Yep.
11 billion.
Yeah. Somebody fell asleep at the wheel.
I think
somebody fell asleep at the wheel on that one. Somebody fucking didn't, put an algorithm in place to fucking catch all the bullshit. And
I'm
they were just
so
wide
mad
open.
I'm so mad I found out too late, because I would have just got a little anybody like, hey, bro, I'm gonna split this in half with you. We gonna use your ID.
There was a lot of money being made. There was a lot of money
the
being
PPP loan.
Yeah, and listen, I think the economy's getting ready to take a shit. To be honest with you, man, after all this PPP money and all this helicopter cash dries up from the government,
we printing out too much money that has no backing.
You're correct. Yeah. It's fiat currency. At the end of the day, it's not backed by anything. It's only it's the belief that, and with inflation every year, you got 2-3% inflation every year. So your money loses its buying power every year. So cash is just a bad investment,
right?
To hold cash. So yeah.
And I got a question for you. What did you think you could have done if the Silk Road was around in your day?
I would have made $100 million.
Really?
Yeah.
How so? Why do you?
Oh, nothing like that existed when I was doing what I was doing, and I would have made $100 million easy. Not just on the credit card front, but just on like so many other avenues that I would have taken advantage of.
So how much do you think, or how much did they say you made?
Between 2005 and 2009, it was roughly 4.6 million.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, roughly $4.6 million. Yeah. And okay, so at the pinnacle, what I deemed to be the pinnacle of my success.
What year was that?
2009. I was doing 100 orders a month, and to shop with me, it was $1,000 minimum order.
Sheesh.
So for $1,000, you got 100 debit cards, and I would work with you on the driver's licenses. I wouldn't give you 100, but I'd work with you. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was a minimum order, and I was doing over 100. I was doing on average 100 orders a month. So about $100,000 on average a month. Not every month. I'm not gonna say every month. Some orders I would do 40, some 60, some 20, some 5. But on average, I would do about 100 orders a month. I had a good,
and everything was out of town or out of country.
Most of it was, yeah. A lot of it was out of the country. I'd get real big orders in from Ukraine. I'd get real big orders in from South America, like Colombia, Brazil, Mexico,
and also. If cryptocurrency would have been big back then, you would still have some money hidden.
And here's something that's going to turn your stomach. When my computers and everything were confiscated, when my house was raided by the Secret Service in 2009, 2010, I had something around like $1,100 in Bitcoin.
How much would that equal to now?
I've done the math so many times. It makes my fucking stomach turn, dude. It makes my stomach turn. Not only because I was invested in it. So back then, when Bitcoin was first doing its thing, there was something called Liberty Reserve. It was called LMZ. There was something called Web Monies, WMZ. Then there was Bitcoin, and then there was 2 or 3 other things. So I had money spread out on all of them.
And how much was a Bitcoin back then?
At that time, it was only a couple of dollars, roughly.
So you probably had
this was 2010. Yeah, it was just like late 2010.
So I would just say you had 700 Bitcoins. So 700 Bitcoins.
Yeah, something like that in 2010.
And just say it's 50,000 right
say
now.
July, it was July of 2010. What was the price of Bitcoin in July of 2010?
35 million.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, let's see.
The price of Bitcoin July 2010.
Bitcoin.
That's what you really have to ask, because that's when I bought in. And I want to say it was $1,100, but I'm not sure, because I honestly was dealing with somebody else and they were investing, but I had all of the wallets and the keys and everything on my hard drives and my computers.
June 2010.
July.
$50.
Yeah. So, and I had somewhere around like $1,100 or something that I invested.
So you would at least be sitting on $1 million.
Oh, I'd be a multimillionaire just off of Bitcoin now. But then,
so they cracked your wallet, or you didn't have a code?
No, they just took my hard drives and everything. Yeah, so that's gone. I mean, either it went to Washington and they went through it, some kind of forensic analysis went through it, and then it probably went to auction and it's either sitting in a warehouse or it got auctioned. Mostly likely it got auctioned.
So there's a computer somewhere possibly with some money on it.
It's useless. I mean, it probably all got formatted anyway. They probably formatted all the hard drives and everything. So yeah, my
Let's just say they were lazy. I need to start going to these police officers.
You ain't lying, yeah. But then again, I didn't have all my keys were encrypted on, because I was using I had all my hard drives encrypted. I had all my hard drives like partitioned with like hidden partitions on the hard drives with my keys and my wallets and all that shit on there. But yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. It makes me sick, but it's just one of those things, man. And I lost a couple $1 million in between the time when they arrested me, in between the time when I actually got caught and I actually got indicted was like 3 years. So I got picked up in 2009 from the Secret Service, and then they didn't indict me till like 2013, 2012, 2013.
Why was that? They had to build a case.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck was going on. It took them 3.5 years. So for like a year, I went through and I kind of just ran through all the money that I had and was just in South Beach partying, Scarlett's Cabaret, fucking Tootsie's, you know what I mean? Just blowing money left and right. Because I was in a relationship and then that ended. And I kind of felt like I'm going to prison eventually. I don't know when, but I'm going. And I started making cards again.
So they took...
Like, fuck it.
So in 2010, they took all your stuff.
Oh, not, yeah. 2009, 2010, yeah. They confiscated everything.
And then you got released, and I'm sure you had a great lawyer. You were a millionaire.
I had a good lawyer. Yeah, I had a good lawyer. And, I didn't even go and get a lawyer right away because I didn't get I was waiting for my indictment before I went and got a lawyer. And it took them almost 3 years to even get an indictment, to go to the grand jury to get an indictment.
You could have done.
So I went back to making credit cards like a year later.
Of course, what they expect you
to
do?
What was I going to do? You know what I mean? Fucking, I need money. And I thought like at least within a year I was going to go back to prison, but I didn't. So I went back to making credit cards. I made like another $1.5 million or something like that, fucking around. Yeah.
So did they just find you in 2012, 2013?
I got pulled over because the tag was bad. I was driving a Cadillac. Tag was bad. I got pulled over. Me and my wife were in the car. I got pulled over. And I thought it was for something serious. Like
Miami?
I was in Tampa.
Oh, okay.
I was living in Tampa, in Temple Terrace. And I thought I was getting like, I was on some paranoid shit, and I thought I was getting like roped off for something called Operation Open Market.
What is that? It
was something going on at that time between the United States Secret Service and FBI. They were systematically going and they were shutting down all of these carding forums. They were infiltrating and shutting them down, and people were going to jail, and they were doing a sweep from east to west coast. Motherfuckers were going to jail. Motherfuckers were getting indicted. It was fucking huge. If you do any research on Operation Open Market, it was like a big fucking thing. And I thought I was getting roped off in that because a bunch of cop cars pulled up as I was getting pulled over. Like, I was fucking with my wife. I was joking around. I was like, because he took my ID and shit, and I thought I was Gucci. And I was like, it's when the second cop car pulls up that you know you're fucked. And then another one came like 10 minutes later, and then another one, and another one, and another one. Like four or five cop cars pulled up, and and I was still sitting in the car, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucked. I was like this. So I told her, I was like, listen, I'm going to jail. I was like, they're gonna arrest me. I was like, go back to the house, get everything out. all my equipment, because I bought new equipment and everything. I was like, get everything out, throw everything away in the trash. You know what I'm saying? And when I got picked up and I went to jail, the warrant was out of the Southern District of South Carolina, where I had got picked up by the Secret Service.
Oh, so that's where you were when you got
That's when I caught my case. I was in South Carolina.
What were you doing up there?
The girl I was with, she was from there, and she wanted to go move up there, and we had money, so we went up there and like got like a brand new fucking condo. Like,
can't do that in South Carolina, man.
I know.
You gonna stick out like a sore.
I know, and it was the old man at the UPS store opened my box and went in, found what I was sending out. He contacted the Postmaster General. Postmaster General contacted the Secret Service.
Why the fuck was he in your box?
And they sent me up exactly.
Nosy South Carolina
motherfuckers. So honest, but it worked out in my advantage because they had to dismiss so much shit.
Right, because he went
so much shit. It fucked up their whole case. I ended up getting 24 months.
24 months for
That's
all
it.
the shit?
Well, yeah, because they had to get rid of the possession of counterfeiting equipment, possession of a fraudulent transaction device, sale of a fraudulent transaction device, mail fraud. All that shit had
because with him opening it, your lawyer could have picked that apart. Like
gone. All that was gone. Oh, the only thing they could stick on me was the aggravated identity theft because I had my picture on someone else's driver's license.
And that's nothing.
It was a mandatory minimum of 24 months.
Right.
And by the time I got the sentencing, I had 13 months in.
Oh, so you only had
when I hit the compound, I only had like 10, 11 months left. And then it was right to halfway house after that. Yeah.
So where were you in prison at?
I was in Coleman, in Florida.
So what year were you now? 2013? What?
I went to prison in 2013, and I was in prison from 2013 to 2015.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the prison life. Were you a boss in there? Like, did you have any pull?
When I went in, my case wasn't really like big news or anything like that. Like it hadn't been publicized or anything. Like my case didn't get publicized until I got out, and like I wrote a book while I was in prison. I wrote my complete memoir, and I get crucified for saying that wrong. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that the right way, but I get crucified for that.
Fuck these people.
Yeah, but anyway, I wrote my memoir when I was in prison, and that got released when I got out, and that's picking up some steam. You know what I'm saying? But prison itself, I don't have too many scary stories to tell about prison. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like prison for me was kind of cushy. I went to a minimum security
because you was in the Fed, so you had
also I'm doing Fed time,
right?
So
you had I'm
doing
crime.
Fed time. You know, I'm in a minimum security cushy prison where the rec yard was like a summer camp, and I was only there for like 10 or 11 months. Honestly, the time in the county before I got to prison was the hard time.
Horrible.
I was 23-1. So I could only come out 1 hour a day, and that was either to use the phone or the shower, and you couldn't do both. You dig what I'm saying? Like you had to pick one because there was a line for both of those motherfuckers, and you only had an hour. So you either got to use the phone or you got to take a shower that day, and that was it for that hour when you came out. So I spent that 1 hour out of my cell every day, either waiting to get into the shower or waiting to get on the phone to call somebody to put money on my books because I was fucking starving to death. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't feed you shit.
They feed you exactly
it's
1,200 calories?
Dude. It's ridiculous. Like a scoop of beans, a little piece of cornbread, and like a piece of lunch meat with some gravy on it, and a little juice. Straight up. And you're in that. I'm in that bitch losing weight, and I'm already skinny. I'm in that bitch losing weight, bro. I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking die in here, you know. So yeah, by the time I got to prison, I was like thankful to be there. To be honest with you, like I just like had this overwhelming feeling of just like being thankful to actually be to the fucking actual compound.
Man, I got
crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I got friends who say the same thing. Like, were you in like dorm style living at the county?
No, I was in a cell.
Oh, okay.
I was behind a door.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in a Columbia, or actually I wasn't even in Columbia. I was in a little shithole jail that had a contract with the feds to hold their inmates. So I was in like a little fucking backwater fucking county jail. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say like the guards were horrible?
The whole situation was bad. They were dicks. They were assholes. You know what I'm saying? The facility was fucked up. The food was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have a radio. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't listen to headphones. There was none of that. Like there was no stimulation. You know what I mean? Like if you got a book, you were lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't bring like a book cart or nothing through that motherfucker. Like books would just get passed from cell to cell, and sometimes half the story was missing. You know what I'm saying? So I would get all the way to the, and then like somebody done ripped the last 15 pages out. So it's just like, you know what I mean? To roll cigarettes with or something. So you couldn't even get the whole story. So yeah, I still got fucking stories I'm wondering about now that I fucking are half read.
He still don't know about Jesus because the book was, you don't even know about it.
It was wild, man. It was wild. County jail was a trip. It was a trip.
Damn. I bet you saw some crazy shit, some crazy fights.
Oh yeah, crazy fights. Motherfuckers get their heads split open over gambling, and
yeah, you guys.
You got the junkies coming in and fucking all fucked up, and they're getting beat up,
running their debts up, and then can't pay.
Yeah, and then you got motherfuckers that just come in on that tip, and they just want to fucking talk shit to everybody, and they get lumped up the first, and yeah, and then you got the politics. It's just the whole system is fucked up.
Man, you just gotta go in there and be cool, man. Like,
that's what I did, man. I just came in that bitch like, when do we eat?
Right.
And that's all I was worried about. It's like, when do we eat? You know what I'm saying? Like, when the fuck do we eat? When can I use the phone? Fuck everything else. Y'all can have that TV. Y'all can, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can have that bat. Y'all, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Let me get to the phone and where's the food?
Right.
That's it, bro. That's the only thing I was concerned about. You know what I mean? Fuck everything else.
Crazy. So when you got to the feds, it was like fucking vacation.
Like I was free. It felt like I was free. You know what I'm saying? I could roam around the compound on my own. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in a little cell that was I could walk from here to the door, to the wall, to the door. And that's it all day long, 24 hours, 23 hours a day, just from the wall to the door, which was like from me to the wall. And that was it. And I had this little window I could look out of and kind of see if somebody was walking across the pod or something like that. And that was it. That was my life for over a year. Yeah, for like 13 or 14 months.
I would have definitely felt like I was on vacation.
So you finally get to the compound and you get to walk around and you get to go walk to the chow hall, which is way over there by yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Like there's a TV, you can just get on the phone when you want to. You only got to wait for a certain time to get on the phone. And they had computers where you could email. You could send and receive emails and shit. So
like a law library and shit?
They had everything, bro. Dude, the motherfucker, and you go out to the rec yard, they had a bocce ball court, handball courts.
Bocce?
Bro, they had tennis courts. They had you could throw horseshoes out that bitch. You could fucking, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, yeah.
So when did you meet Cox? Because I had Cox on my other podcast.
I met Matthew in Coleman when I got to federal prison. I met Matthew Cox in the chow line in Coleman in when we were in the feds. Yeah.
How was that interaction? Were you tatted up before you went to prison?
I was, yeah. I didn't have, I wasn't fully tattooed. Like my head wasn't tattooed, but yeah, I was pretty heavily tattooed when I went to prison. And we were in line in the chow hall, and Matthew was talking about his charges, and one of his charges, he was listing them off, and one of them was like aggravated identity theft. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm here for. That was my charge. That's what I was sent to prison for. And he's like, you? And because I guess he thought I was in there for meth or something. You know what I mean? So I look like one of those guys. I fit the bill. No. Yeah, I fit the bill. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everybody in there thought I was in there for meth, but I wasn't. I was a fraud guy. And I've never messed with drugs or meth my entire life.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then we just got to kicking it, and I told him my story, and he was like, you know what? This needs to be a book. This needs to be written down. So over the course of about the next 6 or 9 months, me and him sat together every day, and we kind of just wrote my entire story, my entire life story.
That motherfucker got a story. Matthew Cox.
Yeah, he's a motherfucker, man.
That shit he done been through it.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about Matthew Cox is I seen his American Greed true crime story on MSNBC before I even went to prison. And me and my little brother used to talk about him. Like that was the dude that fucking used to go to homeless people and play like he was working with some kind of organization to get their information. And then he would steal their identity and open up lines of credit and buy houses and do all that crazy shit. But yeah, that's my homie, man. And none of this would be going on if it wasn't for
right,
Matt's the one that put me on. He's the one that opened. Yeah. So if it wasn't for Matt, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. I wouldn't be doing anything. Yeah.
So, what was prior to prison? What was like? Was there ever a time, when you were running your scam where you were like scared or you felt like you were in danger? Did you ever like come? Because you weren't dealing with too many local people, right?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't dealing with anybody. Like nobody knew what I was doing in my immediate circle.
So there's no real danger of being robbed.
There was a couple of couple of run-ins. I earlier on in my scamming days when I think one of my VPNs or something failed and my IP address was exposed. And I think I was at like a back in the day, Barnes and Nobles was like the spot to go to use the Wi-Fi.
Right.
But I would be behind like a SOX proxy and a VPN. You know, I would be relatively well hidden. And I got sloppy with either one of my security protocols. And I remember being at the Barnes and Nobles and two guys came in and they had lanyards on with badges on them. Now, I don't know if they were there for me. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but it was goddamn suspicious. And I got up and I pushed my laptop into a shelf and I pushed some books in front of it and I just exited the building.
You never went back to get it?
I went back a couple days later to get my laptop, but yeah, no, and it was just like, what the fuck? It was like one of those what the fuck moments, dude. You know what I mean?
Damn. So,
yeah, and I did some checking and I'm pretty sure one of my VPNs or something wasn't good, or I was using like a proxy that was bad, or I don't remember, or maybe I was just not doing anything at all and I just sloppily hooked up to their fucking their Wi-Fi service. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I could have been paranoid. They could have just been in there, you know, to get a coffee. Right. But then again, it doesn't really seem like it because they look like feds, straight up. Yeah,
damn.
Yeah. So there's a couple little brushes like that, but you know, for the most part, I never really had too much anxiety because that's just the brazenness with which I commit crimes is I'm either 100% in or I'm not going to do it at all. So if I'm 100% in, then my comfort level with what I'm doing has to be 100%.
Got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, because if I'm too anxious about something, I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
If it's going to cause too much anxiety in my life, then I don't need to be doing it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, damn, that's crazy, bro. So through the whole thing, you were pretty much with only two women: your baby mama and your current wife.
Well, there was a time in between when that year I kind of went on a rampage when I got caught by the Secret Service, and then
1 year
between like I was just going off, and between like I met my wife, I was going ham. Like I was pulling bitches out of Scarlett's, and I was having like a town car come pick us up and drive us to Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. We were flying private out to fucking McLaren out in fucking Vegas and staying in Vegas for 2 or 3 days, fucking gambling and partying and doing cocaine and fucking. It was. So
you've lived
for a little while, yeah. I mean, I didn't do things like that every night, but there were instances where, you know, I'd be high as fuck and I'd have a bunch of money, and you know, me and my buddy, there's services in Miami where there was like where you could share private jets. So you pay like $100,000 and they give you so many hours of flight time. Now all you gotta do, I got a card in my wallet. I call up this number. They have a town car sent to me wherever I am, and they pick me up and take me straight out to the fucking to the executive airport, and I hop right on the plane and go to wherever I am, and then they just clock your hours. But you know, you got to book it and everything like that. But usually within an hour, they can have a plane ready to go wherever.
That's a decent. That's not,
you know. So if you got money like that, you know, if you got a couple $100,000 here to play with, you know, everywhere, it's not really. And you want to move all around the country, and you don't want to fucking do commercial flights. Like, who the fuck wants to fly commercial? You know what I mean? Like, when
you rolling in money,
let's just hop on the PJ and go where we need to go and do our thing. And I did that, you know, quite a few times. Yeah.
So when you went to Vegas, were you using the cards or just straight cash?
Cash always. I never used the cards ever.
Gotcha.
That's how stupid people get caught. You know, somebody will have a motherfucker will have $50,000 in cash and still be using the cards. It's because they don't understand how it all works. You know, like on the technical, behind the technical side. You know, all it takes is one person to get an alert and be like, and call the hotel where you're staying, where you just fucking used the card like an idiot,
right?
And be like, listen, somebody just used my card, and then the hotel contact the police, and then they come down and kick your door in your hotel room, and you got cash and you got cards and laptops, and now you're going to prison. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna be that guy, so no. I always used cash. I was always careful.
That's
like
smart.
That.
That's smart as fuck.
Yeah.
What's the most amount of hookers you ever bought in one night?
Out in Vegas?
Yeah.
Man, I probably had 3 or 4 of them in there at one point in time. One night, yeah, I was just getting high.
Cocaine
and fucking,
fuel?
Yeah, just going, having a good old time.
Damn,
3 or 4. Yeah, one night. Yeah, I think it was. Well, I had brought one with me from Miami, and then we got there and we decided me and her wanted to get 2 more. So then she was into girls, you know what I mean? She was like, fuck it, call them up, get them up here. So I was like, fuck it. Had 2 of them come up, so then we had like a whole 3 thing going on. Yeah. I had a lot of fun, man. That year I had a lot of fun. You know, I just did bucket list shit.
As you should.
Yeah, I just did bucket list shit, you know? I wanted to do things and I had a lot of fun, And then the year went on, and my money started going down to none because I'm, spending $2,000-$3,000 a night, buying bottles and fucking,
Did you hook your friends up with cash? Since like you
people that in my immediate circle, I wasn't really fucking with people that didn't have money. You know what I'm saying? So like the people I were fucking with, they had money.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I didn't really had to. I mean, I looked out for a few people here and there, yeah, but for the most part, everybody I was fucking with, they all had money. So
where's your mom in this equation? Where's she at?
Oh, she lives in Michigan. She moved back to Michigan in like 1995.
Did you ever send her cash or look out for her?
No, me and my mother, I haven't spoken to or seen my mother in over 10 years.
Oh, damn, bro.
Yeah, me and my mom we aren't like on speaking terms. And not because I'm really like mad at her or anything. It's just like, I don't know, a bunch of shit from my childhood that I just don't understand.
No,
you know what I mean?
Totally
it's like,
that,
it is what it is, dude. Like that relationship's kind of strained, but yeah, no, I helped a lot of my cousins out. I would take trips up to Michigan, and I got a lot of family in Detroit. So I moved up there for a couple years and got a condo and was fucking around up in Detroit. And
you was doing the shit up there too?
Yeah.
What year was that?
This was probably 2007, 2008.
You didn't like it too much up there?
I don't like the cold weather, bro.
Yeah, fuck that cold.
This is too cold for me, and we're in California right now.
Yeah.
And this is honestly for me, I'm kind of aggravated.
It's a little chilly right now.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm aggravated by the weather. So I don't do well with cold weather. I don't like it. I go there for a couple, like I could last maybe like a week or two before it really starts to affect my mood and shit. I don't know if you've ever spent any time in the Midwest or up there in the Northeast when in the wintertime when it's just like overcast for weeks and the temperature doesn't get above zero. And the wind's fucking howling, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, dude, everybody's in the house and it's just aggravating. And it's just like, yeah, it's just, I can't live my life like that. I refuse to.
I was in Canada last year in New York, bro. And I know for a fact I can't fuck with I want to buy a house in Miami eventually or a condo.
Yeah. I want to have a vacation home in Florida, somewhere in Florida. And then I want to have like a summer home somewhere in like northern Michigan or like Wisconsin or something like that, you know? Get out during the summer and because dude, Michigan summers, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I don't know if you've ever been up there in the summertime, but dude, the summers are beautiful. It only lasts there's only like a sweet like 4 or 5 month window where it's just like it's perfect, man. The weather's perfect, like the atmosphere is perfect. Everybody's partying, everybody's in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think like Michigan summers are dope, and then kind of do like the snowbird thing and dip. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could do that shit now, bro.
Yeah.
What was like your mindset like when you got out of prison and you knew you skated? Were you ready to risk it all again?
I actually did, and I went back to prison on violation for 9 months.
How were you violated?
So I got out of prison and I went to the halfway house in Miami. Halfway house was down on like 7th and Flagler, all the way down there, almost by downtown, right before the bridge.
Right.
And so I was in a halfway house, and the halfway house kind of sets you up for failure. Like, so when you get out of federal prison, like if you don't have some kind of safety net, or you don't have like people helping you out, or like, you dig what I'm saying? Like giving you money or helping you buy clothes or bus passes and shit. It's hard, bro. It's hard. And I didn't have shit I didn't come home to nothing. Like my wife was with some other dude when I got out of prison, and all of my clothes, all of my jewelry, it just disappeared. Everything was gone. So when I came home, I didn't have shit. I wasn't coming home to no money. I wasn't coming home to nothing, bro. I had prison sweatsuits. I had like 3 or 4 changes of prison sweats and prison Nikes. And the halfway house was like, you can get a job, but you can only work so many hours because you can only be out so many hours, and we're taking 30 to 40% of your pay before taxes. So I have 6 months to save up whatever little money I can to launch my new life with.
Right.
So I was working at a frozen food warehouse over in North Miami, somewhere in North Miami. It was a frozen food warehouse. It was like a kosher fucking frozen warehouse. I was doing $9 an hour. I was working there for 6 months. I saved every fucking dime. I got out. I got a tiny little studio apartment in Little Havana on like 13th and right by the Miami High School, right across from Miami High School, and I had to get up at 4:00 in the morning because I didn't have a car. I had to walk all the way from 13th and Flagler all the way downtown Miami to catch the very first train to all the way to Hialeah, to the train station to catch the very first bus in Hialeah to go all the way out to Okeechobee, all the way out to Okeechobee Road to go work at a warehouse for $11 an hour. And then I had to run that whole thing going back home, so I wasn't getting home till 10 o'clock at night. You dig what I'm saying? So I get out of prison, and this is my life at that point. And mind you, I was flying private, driving brand new cars before. So now I'm a cockroach. Now I'm all the way back down at the bottom.
And you couldn't hit up none of your baller friends?
I don't know. Like, it was just weird when I got out. I just didn't have anybody to call or to talk to or anything, because I was the man. You know what I'm saying? I was that guy that was fucking looking out for people, and there weren't too many people like above me that I could reach out to.
Damn.
You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm doing this whole thing, and I get out of halfway house in February. I got out of halfway house on my 30th birthday, February of 2015. On my 30th birthday, I got out February 6th, and I made it till July before I was like, I'm either going to commit suicide or I have to risk going back to prison.
Right.
And so that's what I did. I was fucking with some people that had a little bit of money. Actually, this girl I was dating from the halfway house, and her brother had a little bit of money, and he kind of knew my past, and so he invested in me, and so we start back up and start getting back into it. And then like some shit got sent to my house that wasn't supposed to. And before I knew it, the Miami Financial Crimes Unit was at my house. And I violated my probation. So I took off and I like absconded. And like I just stopped reporting on probation, and like so I violated, and I went back in front of the judge, and I like served 9 months on violation, and the judge dig this. The judge says you're not supervisable. That's what the judge told me. You're not supervisable, so we're just gonna go ahead and kill your paper, and kick me out the door with no parole or no probation or nothing.
Damn, you paid the judge off?
Somebody did. Somebody did.
What the heck?
I don't know. And she gave me another 30 days because I thought I was getting out on my court date. She was like, you need to sit for another 30 days, and then they killed my paper.
Bro, you caught some.
I know. I don't know how all this happened, but so now I'm like, okay, if I fuck up again, I'm done. If I go back in front of another judge again for this shit, I'm not getting out till I'm in my 50s.
Right.
You know, so I was like, in my mind, I got to get the fuck out of Miami.
Right.
So now I'm not on paper anymore, because that's the reason I stayed in Miami after the halfway house, because I was on paper.
Right.
And like I had to do my probation and shit in Miami. But now I don't have anybody to answer to. Now I can go do whatever the fuck I want.
So where was the first place you went?
Oh, I went to Michigan. And I hustled in Michigan for like the whole summer, tattooing and you know, doing other little scams and shit.
So when did you start tattooing? In prison?
I started tattooing in like 2000 early, like just fucking around.
Gotcha.
You know, just from like when I was a jit, just fucking around.
Right.
Yeah, so I've been tattooing, you know, since like 2003, 2004.
Gotcha.
Something like that. But it was never like something I just took serious, like, or I actually tried to go work at a shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a warehouse in Miami where I used to hang out with a couple other cats that tattooed, and we used to tattoo out the warehouse and shit. But like, yeah, so I never like went to try to pursue it. But then when I got out of prison, or after like I got out again, and I was off of paper, and I was just like a free man, I was like, so I went up to Michigan, and I hustled for like 3 months, 4 months, and I had some cash, and I was just like, Cali, I gotta go.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so I had a car at the time, and I just drove all the way up to California.
Damn.
Yeah, to Northern California, where I ended up actually getting a job at Tesla.
Really?
Yeah, up in Northern Cali, I ended up getting a job at Tesla. I ended up working there for like 2.5 years, actually, up there, up in Fremont, at the Fremont plant.
What were you doing?
I was a logistics coordinator.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, so I started just unloading trucks, and like just worked my way up to, you know, the guy who runs the guys unloading the trucks. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't like hanging out with Elon or running the place or anything, but yeah, I was a logistics coordinator. I was making pretty good money for like 2.5 years. I hurt my back. So this was like 2015. I went back and I got out 2016. Came out to California, got a job with Tesla 2016. I worked there for 2 years. So 2016 to 2017 to 2018, I hurt my back working at Tesla, like really bad, bro. I was out on like disability. You know what I'm saying? Like my upper back, I had nerve damage and shit. I was fucked up. I was out on disability. So I had to go to physical therapy, all that shit. I got a check and all. So yeah, I got a settlement, and I was like, I'm not gonna go back to working a 9 to 5 ever again.
Right.
Ever again. Like I'm not doing it annable. I'll never work a regular job. So the only skill I was left with at this point was tattooing. And at this point, I'm living up right outside of San Francisco in the Valley. I was in a small city called Tracy.
Yeah, I've heard of Tracy.
Tracy, California, just outside of like Modesto and Stockton and all that
little
shit.
mushroom city.
Yeah. It's just a little, exactly. Yeah, you know what's up out there. Yeah, it is too. It is. You're funny you say that because it was. And yeah, so I lived in Tracy, and my rent was like $1,500 a month. I had a decent little apartment, but I knew that to make it in tattooing, I had to move to LA because LA is just a mecca for tattooing. So at this time, I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to move to LA. And I packed everything in my car, and within 2 weeks, I just drove down to LA. And when I got down here, I didn't have anywhere to live. Like, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have money for an apartment or anything. I put all my shit in a storage unit, and I slept in my car in LA. I like lived in my car for, I want to say like 3.5 months.
Damn.
Yeah, out here in LA. I was out in Culver City. I would go to that, shout out to the Planet Fitness out there in Culver City, because I used to go there every morning and shower and work out. And then that was like my launching pad for my day. And
$10 a month.
Yeah. I had the black card membership. It was like $25.
Right.
So I could, get the full. But yeah, I would shower there in the morning, and I would go from tattoo shop to tattoo shop, and trying to force it. And finally, I got a foothold, and I ended up working in a private studio out in Orange County. And, things just progressed from there. And then my book actually started taking off, because my book got published like a year after I got out of prison, but it really didn't start doing anything. It took a couple years for it to get going. And then my book took off, and the book sales started soaring. And then people just started getting interested in me and my story and my crime. And I was contacted by a private production company, and we filmed like this whole thing that's going to be on like a major network. I don't want to,
Around the time, when can we expect that?
Hopefully within the next 12 months.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, within the next 12 months, I will have like a full blown, like, are you seeing the 6ix9ine documentary kind of deal?
I couldn't watch that shit.
Yeah, well, it's something. It's gonna be huge, and it's gonna be professionally done. And it's gonna be on a major network. So I'm doing that, and then I just started doing YouTube. Nice. I created my own YouTube channel.
Your YouTube is gonna blow, bro.
Bro, that's what everybody's telling me. And right now, I'm working. I put in serious fucking work. I'm serious about my YouTube game.
Just the aesthetics alone, like you got me thinking. Like, the wheels are turning in my head. Yeah. Like, let me get with my team and see what we need to do. And
I'm on it. I'm fucking on it, bro. I'm on it. Like, I film content every single day. And my interaction with my subscribers is unreal. Mm-hmm. Like, I answer every single comment. Every single comment anybody leaves, I answer it. I interact with my viewers. My subscribers will leave a comment. Oh, you should have talked about this or made a video about this. My next video, I will make about the viewer, what they asked for the content, and I will shout out the viewer who requested the fucking video. You know what I mean? So
that's that customer service you got, man.
It rolls back to, it's just like, I want to be authentic, and I want to connect with my subscribers on a level that nobody else is doing on YouTube. And I think that's going to be my niche, because I come off as authentic. Well, I mean, not come off, but I am authentic. And when I edit all my own videos myself, I don't edit out the ums and the uhs. You know what I mean? Like, normal shit that other people edit out to make their videos more polished and more to come off like.
Yeah,
more
I like the raw too. Like, I
like the raw. Yeah. Like, I just feel like it needs to be. I feel like people connect with that better, and people respect that a lot better. And I feel like a lot of my subscribers that I have now are all going to be genuine, and they're going to fuck with my content. So my views are going to be there, and my click through rate's going to be there, and my interaction with my subscribers is going to be there, and everything is going to be 100% homogenous and natural.
Nice.
And I think that's what you need to do to actually succeed at YouTube, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, man, that's a great way to look at it, bro. Yeah. Well, your book is called Bent, right?
Bent. Yeah. If you just go into Amazon, you type Bent and cybercrime, or Bent and my name, John Boseak. It comes right up. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for stopping through today. Shout out your IG so people can follow you.
Slum by Nature. If you guys want to fuck with me on YouTube, my channel is Boseak Conundrum. For those of you that can't spell, it's CONUNDRUM, and my Instagram is Slum by Nature. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, and thank y'all for tuning in to the very first episode of the long form, The Fat Pessimist. I have my boy, Mr. John Boseak, here to help me kick off my very first special episode.
Episode numero uno.
And we about to do at least 10 million episodes. Well, that's a lot. I don't know. Maybe 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. We'll get there. Fuck it. Whatever it is. But thank y'all, man. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share this shit. And let everybody know about The Fat Pessimist.
That's Peace. It.